Today is a celebration for the 80th birthday of one of the people on this picture. That would be this gentleman here, James Tomasi. I'm going to put this publicly out there, so you may end up seeing this and you may not know James, although most of you who do end up watching this probably already do know James. But in terms of his importance in my life and the life of many other people that we call upper cervical chiropractors or upper cervical doctors, James was someone who came into our lives at a place in time and told us it was okay to be who we were and what we were interested in, and let us know that the future was a bright place for this little out of the way way of taking care of people that seemed to be kind of ghettoized and small and ignored by many in the profession. This was before this is before some of that exciting stuff that's going on right now is going on, guys. And of course, there are many who preceded us for many years who kind of toiled in obscurity. But this is before the Marshall Dicholtz hypertension paper, and before some of the stuff was going on with that was publishable from the phase contrast microangiography and the upright MRI imaging and the CBCT imaging. This is before all that stuff was going on. We first heard about James talking about his desire to end his life because of chronic pain, specifically through trigeminal neuralgia, and then finding healing and finding restoration through specific adjustment to the upper cervical spine. For a lot of us, going through school in the middle aughts, going through chiropractic school then, this was a defining moment to see someone who was a layperson who came into the profession who, as an advocate, others had done this before. Certainly James wasn't the first, but he was coming in at a time when several folks were writing about or talking about the need for different upper cervical procedures to kind of come together and talk about our future and changing the language of the chiropractic culture, as well as how the world saw us via really the real efficacy of what we're doing in the upper cervical spine. And so in terms of the individuals who influenced my own development as an upper cervical chiropractor, it would be, besides the doctors, James would probably be the only layperson via his advocacy as an upper cervical advocate. So just running through the lists, my own friend Marcy Ziska, who practices in Omaha, Nebraska, she first introduced me to the orthogonal work. Deb Sesker, Dr. Barb Reed, indirectly then, and then eventually directly through those doctors, I was introduced to Robert Brooks, and then through NUCA I was introduced to Dr. Milton Steele, who's since passed, Dr. Yarley, and then through digging more into NUCA, of course, discovered the monographs in Mr. Jim Palmer and Michael Thomas, and of course Keith Denton, who was very generous with his time with me and answered all my questions that I had regarding why we were the way we were and how things got to be the way they were, and went over through some of the science. And Dr. Denton, who took care of a lot of my family members over here on this side in Michigan while I was still in school. And I would be remiss not to mention Dr. Marshall Dicholtz Sr., who took care of my parents when I first heard of James and the orthogonal work. I said I need to get my parents involved in this over there in Chicago, see what their experience is like. I wanted the rubber to meet the road, so to speak. So I did like anybody would. I went to the NUCA website and I looked up who was in Chicago, and lo and behold, Dr. Marshall was there, not too far away from my parents. So they met Dr. Marshall Dicholtz Sr. and they met Young Chung. They got taken care of there for many years. and they had phenomenal results, and that was part of my decision to dedicate my life to this science. And right there in the thick of it, somewhere along the lines of 2007 maybe, I heard a presentation from James, who said, this changed my life, and I want it to change yours, and I want you to go out there and change the lives of many other people, kind of in the Great Commission kind of way. And so I said, yeah, let's do this. So when I got out into the wider world and began to practice on my own, I wanted to bring James to speak, as he did. And so with Dr. Barb Reed, we brought him to Ames, Iowa, to Central Iowa. And we did what we knew how to do to try to get the butts in the chairs, to let people know, hey, this is an important science that's going on within chiropractic and healthcare in general. And we were not all that successful until I got the attention via social media of a journalist at the Des Moines Register, and I forwarded him this copy of the Gaston Gazette, which is in front of you, from August 6, 2006, that James provided me, and a PR release from James. And she said, okay, this is interesting. I think I'll write about this. And she wrote a story that made it to the front page, I believe, of the health and lifestyle section. And they interviewed Deb Sesker, and they interviewed Barb Reed, and they interviewed me. Boy, they put a phone number on there, and we put, I believe, 80 people in seats, if I remember right, maybe more. It may have been upwards of over 100. Anyway, that was the first time I got to take care of a bunch of people who were coming to see me because of my upper cervical training, and that was amazing. Since then, everybody evolves, and I went on to start a practice here in Michigan, and I was on the phone a couple different times with Rhonda, and I got to hear a little bit of the background on what James was going through, and she helped get me a few other healing technologies in the practice, which I use and which my patients enjoy. She also connected me with a few people who were involved in speaking truth and in counseling, and hooked me up with a friend of hers in Florida who gave me some really great words at an important time in my life. And so the Tomasis, in more than one way, have introduced me to, have supported me in a lot of ways. And so even though I'm probably late with this video, I wanted to put this out there publicly and just say happy birthday, James. You've been an important part of my life, and indirectly then, of course, an important part of the lives of my patients. And of course, indirectly having a hand in some of those minor and major miracles that we all experience. And I've handed out your book to hundreds of people, and of course hundreds of people's lives have been changed. So my hat's off to you. God bless. Thank you for the work that you've done, and the work that you continue to do. View your witness for the power of God's healing through the innate power that He gives us through His design. Have a great day. Enjoy your friends and your family. Take care.